Folks were pumped up. The fans have been waiting.
An electric atmosphere here. This is unique, ladies and gentlemen. I got goosebumps. You would too if you were here.
My friends, we are 10 days away from the start of the college football season. And so for this morning, I've put together the 10 biggest questions for the season to begin. And here to answer them are Paul Finebaum and our buddy EJ Manuel from ACC Network. We're going to run through them. Here we go. Sir Paul, I will start with you. Here's question number 1. Is Michigan, the defending national champs, are they closer to missing the playoff or to repeating as national champs? Which is likelier?
Greeny, they're much closer to missing the playoffs. In fact, right now, I think they're literally on the outside looking in. They need to upset somebody really big like Texas. Otherwise, they're not going to be in the playoffs, and their chance of winning it all again, how about 0?
I like it. Let me go over to EJ. Next question, burning question, 10 days till the start of the season. Of all the new schools in the Big Ten, they added 4 new teams. Which one has the best chance to make the playoff this year, EJ?
Greeny has got to be the Oregon Ducks, and I say that because of the quarterback, Dylan Gabriel. When you look at Bo Nix, who's now playing for the NFL, playing for the Denver Broncos, he has a lot of similarities to Dylan Gabriel. This guy's thrown for over 3,500 yards many times in his career. He's accurate. He knows to go with the football. And also with a coach that's a defensive-minded coach, their defense is going to be stout as well.
Oregon was right there last year. Of course, Washington, now in the Big Ten, was in the national championship game a year ago. Let's stay in the Big Ten here, Paul. Would you describe 2024 as a make-or-break season for Ohio State coach Ryan Day?
Greeny, in some ways I do. It's a complicated answer, and let me explain. Ryan Day, number 1, has to beat Michigan. And if he loses to Michigan, then he better do something spectacular, like win it all. Otherwise, I think he's going to be facing a wave of criticism. He may have the best roster in the country. It's valued at about $20 million. That sounds like the NFL here. So he has to do something pretty incredible. I think he will, but beware of that Michigan game. That's what Ohio State fans want to change after 3 straight losses.
Boy, that takes a little getting used to, doesn't it? Like the valuation of a college football roster. Get used to it. That's the world we live in right now. How would you describe the pressure after all we've seen with Michigan seasons and everything else, EJ? How would you describe the pressure that's on Ryan Day to get it done?
Yeah, it's definitely a make-or-break year for Ryan Day. Look, when you go 11 wins 3 seasons in a row, that's great. But when you don't beat your rival in Michigan, you got to get over that hump. And in order to do that, you got to run the football. And I feel like that's why Ryan Day went out and got Chip Kelly. Any offense that Chip Kelly was coaching, they ran the football at a high clip. I think at UCLA, they averaged well over 200 yards a game. So it's going to be huge for them. And, of course, you got Quinshon Judkins from the transfer portal at Ole Miss. You also bring back the talent from Travion Henderson and Will Howard at quarterback who can run the football as well. Of course, they got receivers. But in order to beat Michigan, you got to beat them at their own game, and that's running the football.
Well, look, while Georgia is everybody's number 1 team in the country, everyone keeps telling me Ohio State has the best roster. So we'll see if they're able to get it done. EJ, we see you in the ACC Network shirt, so I'll give you an ACC question. Which team in that conference has the best chance to win the national championship?
Yeah, Greeny, it's Florida State. And also, I have some Kleenex here for Paul because he did say that we're still wiping our tears for not making the championship last year. But the reason why, they have one of the top defensive lines coming back, Patrick Payton, Joshua Farmer, Darrell Jackson Jr., also Marvin Jones Jr. coming over from Georgia. And DJU is going to get fixed, guys. I'm telling you, Mike Norvell does a great job of calling an offense that builds around the quarterback. You saw what he did over years on them with Jordan Travis. He can do the same thing with DJU.
All right, and you could also use those Kleenex to wipe yourself down. I can't believe how hot it must be where you are right now. Just looking at you, I'm hot. Finally.
It is hot.
Where are you, EJ? Where are you sitting? America. Well, it's a burning question.
I'm at Pitt's training camp, Green. I feel like I'm about to practice in like 20 minutes. I'm at Pitt's training camp right now.
Okay, yes,
yeah.
It looks hot. Outside. I'm sweating just having this conversation with you. Yeah, listen, that's right. Lewis is all excited if you're at Pitt. Okay, Paul, let me come back to you, Sir Paul. We cannot have this conversation without talking about Alabama. The question is simple. Can they win the whole thing without Nick Saban?
Greeny, it's a really simple answer. No. I don't think this team is good enough. Nick Saban himself told you a couple weeks ago one of their deficiencies is in the defensive secondary. That's on him. That's what he used to coach, and he lost his best player, or Kalen DeBoer did, to Ohio State and Caleb Down. So I think they're challenged. I think the schedule is overwhelming. I think they can make the playoffs, but they are not going to win the national championship without Nick Saban. Not yet, at least.
Well, let me be clear. Is this a Saban thing? Or is this a talent thing? It sounds to me like you're saying the team isn't good enough. It's not as much a function of the coach being gone, Paul?
The team is very good, but they're missing some key elements, and that's what happened when Nick Saban left. They lost 2 or 3 incredible players that I think could be the difference between making the playoffs and winning the playoffs. Ultimately, Kalen DeBoer is good enough to win it all, but not this year.
What do you think, EJ? It's for a generation now. We're accustomed to Alabama just being there at the finish. Is this team going to be there at the finish?
Yeah, they're going to be there at the finish. And the reason I say that, Kalen DeBoer does an excellent job of providing more time for the quarterback. If you go back at his time at Washington, in 28 games, they only had 16 sacks, and that was Michael Penix Jr. at quarterback. And, of course, they had one of the best offensive lines in the country. Jalen Milroe got sacked over 40 times last year. So if that's something that Coach DeBoer can bring to this Alabama Crimson Tide offensive line, protect the passer, play excellent defense. And, look, guys, it's Alabama. I mean, they still get the pick of the litter as far as talent from the high school ranks and certainly the transfer portal. So I think they're still going to be well in the hunt. That's why they're number 5 right now in the AP Top 25 preseason.
Let's see. I mean, it is Alabama, but it isn't Nick anymore, and we'll see if Alabama remains Alabama. EJ, find some shade, my man. Thank you very much.
Give me something.